To this one kick of the ball by Didier Drogba. Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea history. Champions of Europe at last.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Stand once again. Thank you so much for joining. Before we do anything, please, I'd like you guys to smash the like button, subscribe. You guys have been helping out a lot. All of our episodes have been doing so well, and I really thank each and every one of you guys for always tuning in and watching our show. Once again, we've got an amazing show lined up. No guests today, but sometimes we love it this way because we just get to talk, us three, myself, Ameya, Kunal, we just talk. And when you just have a great discussion, so many things come out of it, and hope you guys enjoy. So today, first of all, what I want to talk about is, we've got three topics obviously lined up. I'll talk about a particular topic. Ameya will then talk about a particular topic, and Kunal will finish off with a particular topic. But we'll all get to get a round of each of our topics anyway and get our views and perspective. My topic is, which is quite topical at the moment, which is all about Kai Havertz. It's very imminent. We've seen the news yesterday from Leverkusen's coach pretty much confirming that Kai Havertz is not coming back to Leverkusen, and this is a done deal. Like there's no doubt about this being a done deal. This was a done deal, as Fabrizio Romano and a few of the other top journalists would have said that a week ago, that it was all done and dusted. It's just a matter of Chelsea administration to come out and announce. But what I want to talk about today is, I guess, two things about this particular topic. One, why has it taken so long? Some of the fans are getting frustrated and so on and so forth. And the other thing is, how important is this player? So first of all, in my opinion, and we'll touch on Ameya and Kunal as well as to why they think this was so long. In my opinion, this took so long. It's because Leverkusen wasn't looking to sell someone like Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, I believe, had a fairly long contract to run as well. He didn't have any, release clause like Timo Werner did. With Timo Werner, as soon as you trigger the release clause, that's it. The club is out of the way. Leipzig really doesn't have anything to say. And from there on, it's really, here's the money, Leipzig, and, do your personal terms with Timo Werner. In this case, that's not the case. There's no release clause. Kai Havertz is completely Leverkusen player. And throughout this whole process, Kai Havertz has already agreed on personal terms a long time ago with Chelsea. Once it was clear that there was only the one runner in this particular race, Kai Havertz had already done it. But Leverkusen's a particular club that, they want to get they know that this player is their biggest asset, and they know that they can earn a lot of money out of this. At the end of the day, they're not a very, very strong club, and they want to squeeze out as much as money as they can from Chelsea, because, they need to fill the gap. They need to fill the void of Kai Havertz, who's done so well for them. And they need to go out there and maybe spend it on 2-3 players with that particular money. So that's one of the factors. And I'll let the boys elaborate on this a little bit more. But in regards to how important he is, I think he's a very, very important player for us in terms of the, scoring goals. I know he's not someone who's out-and-out creator, but he does have that ability to create. He's more of a goal scorer. That's why he plays in the false nine position. That's why he'll play sometimes in the wings, cut in. He likes to score goals, but he does have the vision as well of those key passes. So for us, this player, along with Ziyech, along with Werner, along with Pulisic, is highly, highly important. So I'll go to Ameya now. Ameya, what's your thoughts in regards to this whole why it's taken so long and how important Kai Havertz is for us?
Yeah, but first things first, I'm very pissed off at how long it's taking to announce. I mean, the least they could have done is just put out that, we have some Kai Havertz news tweet, but that they've not even done that. So I think that, as you said, I think it's taken so long because it's such a big transfer, right? We've always seen that such transfers take a lot of time. especially to materialize, right? These big money transfers generally take throughout the transfer window, but in our case, we made the move early, right? So then I think that and from the beginning, right, ever since we got linked to the play, at first no one believed it, like the link was too good to be true, and especially because we had Mount as well. So I think that we first thought that our priorities would be elsewhere, but he is such a player. I think that what my opinion is, honestly, is that Kai Havertz would have had a gentleman's agreement with the Bayer Leverkusen board to allow him to leave this season had there not been the pandemic. I think if the pandemic had not been there, I think Bayern would have been very interested. I think Real Madrid as well would have been very interested in taking him.
Man United apparently late has shown some interest.
Exactly. So I think that had the pandemic not taken place, then I think that there would have been a lot of runners for Kai Havertz. But because of the financial situation of all these other clubs, right, and Chelsea's willingness to spend, I think that has made us the lone horse in this race. But that doesn't mean that he chose, he settled for Chelsea. He chose Chelsea at the end of the day, right? And you could see that he's been so desperate to join us, right? I mean, you could see his body language in the Europa League. He just wanted to get out of there. I think there was a picture of him in the dressing room where he's just standing alone and the rest of the squad is elsewhere. He just wanted to get out of there. So I think that's
he's been liking a lot of Chelsea posts. So
exactly. He can't wait to join us. But these things do take time, and I think Leverkusen have not been the best of negotiators, right? I think that the problem I think is that the top journalists and the ITKs of Chelsea Twitter, if you will, all of them came out and they've been confident of the deal for a very long time. Right. So I think, which is why we always thought that it was in a more advanced stage than it actually probably is from a very long period of time. But I think now we're starting to see that we were confident because there was no one else in the running and because Kai Havertz was eager to join Chelsea. So I think that because of that, we thought it was in an advanced stage when it really wasn't. But now I think it's
okay.
Yeah. So I think that, but now I think it's a matter of when. I think. Right, he's going to fly back to London with Werner and Rudiger as soon as he's done with his international duties. As regards to the sort of player he is, I think his creativity is a bit underrated because of his poaching and his goal scoring. It's sort of like Lampard. People always say that Lampard used to just score goals and wasn't technical, but he was so much more technical than people give him credit for, right? Just because he scored goals, that doesn't make you any less technical of a player, right? You could score goals and be technical. So I think that's similar to Havertz. I think his creativity is underrated because his goals and assist output is so high. But I think he's going to be an excellent addition. And for me, I think he's the best player that we've signed since Eden Hazard.
Wow, nice. Kunal, what's your thoughts, man?
I think Ameya touched upon it earlier as well, because I think that many people, including me, have been guilty of making this one mistake, which is to forget that it is 100 million worth of transfer, 100 million euros. With such a monumental figure in question, it's not as simple as just throwing your money to the club and the guy is wearing holding your shirt 3 hours later. It's not that straightforward. Kai Havertz is a very coveted player and he's a major brand in himself, just like how Christian Pulisic was, if you guys remember. These guys, they are major brands. So there are media rights, brand deals, marketing stuff. All of that needs to be sorted. Of course, that takes time, in itself. Another reason why the delay occurred is obviously because the Leverkusen hierarchy was adamant that they want to announce a replacement before they announce his departure in order to not upset the fans. So it's all natural, in my opinion, and even though I would love the announcement to be made earlier, I would at this point even make do with those vanilla template that we have some news, Kai Havertz news. I'd make do with that. But I also understand why the delay has occurred, because it's understandable. The more important thing for me is that the confirmation from the biggest sources, that's all matters to me. And after reading Here We Go twice within a matter of a week from Fabrizio Romano, I think I'm actually sitting quite chilled. As for the impact that he'll have for us, we just need to look at the impact he has had for his childhood club. Breaking records left, right and center, scoring goals, bringing others into play, tactically flexible, eye for a killer pass, eye for a clutch goal. The guy is the complete deal. He's the whole package. So I have no concerns about the fact that Kai will find his feet eventually in the Premier League. And once he does so, he will also be surrounded by players with much more better quality I mean, no offense to Bayer Leverkusen, but I think there's no point in refuting the fact that he'll be surrounded with players of much more higher quality. So I think his stats are only going to get better. The player himself is going to only get better. And the fact that he's also, quite excited on the move and is pushing for the move is something that I'm also very excited about, because you want the player to be hungry to, when coming to the prospect of joining Chelsea. I think that is also a major thing for me that makes me very excited about this team. Yeah, that's my personal take.
No, it makes sense now. I think a good point that you said there was Leverkusen's waiting for a replacement, and they don't want to upset their fan base that here goes our biggest asset without announcing that here comes some of the recruitment. So, look, I think all of us, we've now pretty much said there's many factors here that tie in together in this mega deal. Hence, it's taken a lot of time. All right, let's move on to the next topic, Ameya.
Yeah, so the topic that I wanted to talk about, of course, was covering our recent preseason friendly, which was against Brighton at the Amex. And luckily, we were able to watch it for free on the website. Very delighted for that. I don't think other clubs have, forwarded that privilege to their fans. But regardless, the result was a bit disappointing. I think that, on paper, you look, it's a 1-1 draw. That's all right. But
we had all our academy guys by the end of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I think preseason games at the end of the day is just about fitness, right? It's not to, really test the caliber of the players. It's just about fitness and the real, training, whatever happens, that happens behind the scenes, which we don't get to see, of course. So I think that from that perspective, I think we had a pretty decent game. I think a couple of names, stood out for me actually, who surprised me at how good they were. And the usual suspects, of course, were there to concede penalties and 3 minutes after coming on and whatnot. But let's not get into that. The most exciting part for me, of course, apart from Gallagher, I think had a really good performance. Even Clark Salter as well. But apart from those two, the main focus, of course, was the new signings of Ziyech and Werner. And there has been so much talk about when we're finally going to see them together, and we finally have, albeit it being a preseason game. I just wanted to see them together on a pitch with the Chelsea shirt, and that's happened. And I couldn't be more delighted, right? 4 minutes in, Werner's got the goal, and I knew that he'd score.
And Ziyech with the ball as well.
The ball as well, exactly. So I knew that they'd have an immediate impact, and you could see that. And I was so delighted with that. Ziyech was so good, right? He cuts in on his left, and then he switches play with ease, and the ball falls perfectly to the other player's foot, right? He doesn't even have to move. Ziyech could be in the Amex, and Werner could be at Stamford Bridge, and he'd whip it and it'll fall in his feet perfectly. That good. He's that good. And Werner as well. That's a poacher's effort, really. I think when Hudson-Odoi got in and he headed it, it was poor head up. But not many centre forwards will make that run along with Hudson-Odoi, right? Most of them will probably just isolate him. But so that was a really good finish. Hudson-Odoi, was he onside, offside? I don't know. I don't think they showed us proper replays for that, but we'll claim that goal. Werner FC claims that goal. So I'm really excited. I don't know about you, Kunal. I think Reece really was promising as well with Ziyech on his side. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if I can continue from here, because you know what, I kind of feel bad for Eden Hazard, because imagine if we had shown the same intent when he was around. Imagine the link up of Ziyech, Werner, Hazard as our front three, with Havertz looking behind and to nail the final lane in the coffin of the opponent.
Pulisic is better anyway, man. Pulisic is better anyway.
I mean, but when I was just talking about Eden Hazard and feeling bad for him. The guy has had to make do with a stale slice of pizza just so we could have caviar one day, So, but now the time is to look forward to the future, and the future seems to be really exciting. Not gonna lie. I mean, the first thing that struck me in that preseason friendly was the work rate of both our guys, both our new signings, even more so with Werner in his case, because we saw his Firmino-esque play, getting involved in the build-up play, supporting in the build-up play, and yet having that massive goal threat without necessarily being the defensive striker. It was just a striker who was, putting his weight in the middle of the park as well. We also saw the trademark Ziyech with his long ball, which I'm sure the AFTV squad didn't find anything special, but it was seriously good, man. So we have a taste of what's to come. And like I said in our previous video, Ziyech is not here to take part. He's going to take over the Premier League by storm. Why?
Exactly.
Because he can. Because he is that good and he belongs here. So I couldn't have been more happy with the performances of both the guys. And I'm just looking forward to and I'm just feasting at my eyes and the prospect of seeing these both guys, what they will do to the other opposition teams. I think it's going to be a very fun ride, really. Yeah.
No,
What do you have to
absolutely.
say, Liz?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you guys have summed it up nicely. I was just so happy to see both Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner, starting together. It was, I don't know about you guys, boys. Like, I felt so surreal. Like, seeing all this time we've been talking about Hakim Ziyech, Werner, Hakim Ziyech. Everyone's been tweeting, everyone's been commenting, and so many things. It was so great to see both of them play together. And within the first 5 minutes, Ziyech puts in that trademark cut in, whips it in with his left, finds Kalamantanador. I think what I do want to touch here is players like Werner and Ziyech will really have a big impact on players like Kalamantanador and Pulisic. I think last season, obviously Pulisic and Kalamantanador, they had to really find their own way. Like they had to make their own opportunities and do a lot of heavy work. Whereas I think this time they're going to be given many opportunities, as we saw with Ziyech's ball, which really should have been Ziyech's assist. It had Kalamantanador put it through. But nonetheless, I mean, I think that's what we're going to see. All these opportunities that are going to come for these type of players like Kalamantanador and Pulisic, and even in the midfield if Ruben Loftus-Cheek can find his form again. So, yeah, these two players, Ziyech and Werner, are going to have a massive impact for us. Not only they're going to score goals, but they're going to make everyone around us a lot better. As Ameya already touched it, that Reece James is link up with Ziyech is already spicing up, and he's already tweeted about it, saying that that combination. And once Chilwell starts, he'll see the combination when Ziyech whips in those balls, and instead of finding Pulisic, he finds Chilwell in the corner. That's going to be quite impressive. So, yeah, overall, I think it was a great outing. Yes, the result wasn't, so fantastic. But as you guys said, it's not really about the results for these preseasons. It's all about get yourself out there and have a good run. And, I'm sure come the Premier League start, we've got Brighton. I'm sure we're gonna be showing up in that match. Kunal, what's your topic, man?
I mean, if you are a Chelsea supporter, right, then you probably have watery eyes by just imagining the prospect of discussing this with your mates, fellow Chelsea mates, about which signing are they most excited about and how the link up of Werner, Ziyech, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi will work out. Because not that long ago, if you remember, the discussion was more based around which player was most likely to throw a disaster class between Morata, Bakayoko, Zappa Costa, etc. So for such a sudden change in the transfer policy, I think we have to thank Frank Lampard first for having that gravitational pull of a neutron star. We have to also thank Mr. Roman Abramovich for reigniting his interest in Chelsea, which I think was never dead, but the media made it that way. So Roman Abramovich, we have to thank the guy, of course, because he's the one pumping the money. But most of all, I think we have to thank the chief executive of the club, Marina Granovskaya. And for my fellow Chelsea brothers who are probably listening to this and laughing at the pronunciation of the name, don't act like you got it right either in the first attempt.
No one got
seriously
it right.
Though,
no one.
Seriously though, it's funny how the perception quickly changes in football. I was just thinking about it. Most people before the transfer window knew Marina as the most powerful woman in football, but not for her transfer credentials. We all knew about her bargaining skills, but not necessarily her eye for, finding a talent or the ability to bid for the right players. Now they see her a worthy recipient of her own statue outside the Stamford Bridge, and she's hailed as the queen of transfer, yarida, whatever. I personally find it interesting. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Ameya and Ms. I want us to discuss Marina as the financial controller of the club. The great, the good, the bad, and maybe the ugly. How good, in your opinion, she has actually been in her role? How much of a share she has had in the functioning of the club? And what makes her so special? I'd like to first go with you, Ms. Like, what's your take on that? Marina as a financial controller of the club.
Man, honestly, I think look, I think you've already touched on a few points in the sense that, obviously the Conte era, in regards to some of the signings that we've made in the second season, wasn't really great. We bought some players for quite a bit of price as well. And, some of them obviously didn't work out, and I don't want to dwell too much about that. But since then, some of these signings that's happened, even during Sarri era, Sarri got some of his players, really. I mean, he wanted Jorginho, he got Jorginho. He wanted Kepa, he ended up getting Kepa. And at the end, he wanted Higuain, whether he worked or not. It probably didn't work, but at the same time, that's probably what Sarri wanted. So there was a shift in, the change of how we're going to get the players and how do they suit the system or whatnot. It was changing. And obviously now that Frank is here, it's definitely changed a lot with the managers' selection. And obviously these are all fantastic, the way we've done the Ziyech deal, how quickly we've moved into that. And it was once again, someone that Frank had admired for a little while. Timo Werner, we saw an opportunity, albeit I think Frank's choice was Aubameyang. There was some links that he was talking to Peter Cech about Aubameyang, and Aubameyang was in a bit of a iffy situation. And Frank knew that that's the kind of player he wanted. But, I think Chelsea then said, hey, we've got Timo Werner, who's sort of similar in the mold, but a lot younger. You're going to get him for a lot longer. And straight away, Frank was on board and, he contacted Timo Werner and he was in. And obviously, since then, we've seen so many good deals that have happened, not just now, but deals for the future, players for the future, like Malang Sarr, Xavier Mbemba. But what really, really is quite strikes me the most is certain people in the, online social media have been commenting that Marina's a particular style of financial controller that sees 2 or 3 deals ahead. Like, I'll give you guys an example. All this Kai Havertz talk, right? Bayer Leverkusen's trying to buy someone from Roma who's Schick, who they're trying to buy. And we have recently been linked with Jorginho. So at the end of the day, we pay the money to Bayer Leverkusen for Havertz. They pay the money to Roma for Schick. And then they have all this money, hopefully, to get Jorginho from us. So ultimately, the money that we paid for Havertz is done a nice 360 and come back to us. And not all of it. I'm not saying all of it, but part of it. But at the same time, we've sort of swapped Jorginho for Kai Havertz. So apparently, this is how she visions her trade deal, that if I was to buy this player from this club will need someone, then they will go somewhere else, and we need to offload another player. She kind of sort of puts all of this spider web. Apparently, she pictures all this, which is quite interesting. And I think someone of a very, very high esteem and good knowledge can only start thinking in that sense, that domino effect of when you do something, what is the counter reaction? What's the? I'm sure you boys will be able to tell me, Ameya or Kunal, what's that scientific word? Every action has a reaction, or something like that. Isn't that the
equal and opposite reaction? Newton's third law.
Exactly, and I think that's exactly how she thinks. Honestly, she thinks about, if I do this, what are the consequences, and then what are those consequences lead up to, and then can I take advantage of those consequences as well? So I think that's quite interesting. Ameya, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, I agree completely there. I think she's a smart businesswoman, right? And she's like so well versed in all her financial stuff. So I think that first of all, about the good and bad and ugly, I think her role, right, is purely to negotiate for a player, right? I don't think she picks a player, right? The players are picked by the scouts. And when the scouts tell her, right, they say, okay, go to this club and, ask for this player. And then she does her job perfectly, because on very few occasions have I seen, Chelsea showing some serious interest in a player and not getting them, right? Very rarely that happens, unless there's some sort of breakup in the middle, or the player chooses to go elsewhere, or commits further to his club or whatnot. So I think she excels at her job. The problem all these years was our scouting department was terrible, right? There is no two ways about it. Atrocious scouting. hence I think that, which is why, and she took the
But who
blame,
was
right?
our scout? Must be Angry Man.
I think it was Michael Emenalo, I think, if I'm not wrong. I think he left the club a few years back. So, yeah, so I think that the problem there was that, right? She went and bought the player who she was asked to, right? But then she didn't pick the player herself. And I think because she was the one sitting, Marina was the one sitting next to the player when he's signing the contract. Everyone, always thought that she's one behind it, right? She's the one behind the transfer. And then they started scapegoating her, honestly, right? They're like, she doesn't know the players. And then, all the sexist people came out saying she belongs in the kitchen and whatnot. But that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. She just buys the players who she stole. And I think she's excellent at her job. And she's one of the most powerful, not women, she's one of the most powerful people in world football on the whole, who gets stuff done so well, so quickly, and so discreetly as well, right? When you see United or Arsenal, someone linked to a player.
Ameya, just to interject there, you're so right what you just said about the most powerful woman in football, because I think Christian Falk just recently tweeted that Leverkusen's not finding it easy because Marina is so powerful. Like, she has her way. So, yeah, continue.
Exactly.
Sorry, man.
Yeah,
he has
exactly,
an aura, man, like Undertaker, yeah.
Undertaker. But yeah, honestly.
Yeah, they have those stories about Undertaker and, the court of wrestling. He was the judge. But
yeah. But yeah, I think
carry on.
Yeah. She just has that aura about her, exactly as you said, and I think she's so powerful in the world of football, and she gets done deals so discreetly. I think that is an underrated aspect, right? When you see United or when you see City or when you see Arsenal, someone linked to a certain player, and everyone's tweeting it out. But you look at the Ziyech deal, right? I think it was under development all the way from December, right? Throughout January, throughout the entire January window, not one word was spoken about it, right? No links to Ziyech whatsoever. And then February, I think someone tweeted it out initially, and then 24 hours later, we have some Hakim Ziyech news, right? That's how it works.
It was off the back of my thread. For
sure.
You know what the funny story is, Ameya? You know what the funny thing? I remember, obviously some parts of our fan base weren't with Ziyech, and some parts where I always loved Ziyech, right? And I remember quite fondly, I did that thread and I went to bed. I was like, this is what I do. I want to do a thread on Ziyech because there was a lot of people that were having a dig at Ziyech. So I did a thread on Ziyech, and I wake up to the biggest surprise that we have signed him.
Yeah, exactly. I think even I was on board with the Ziyech signing, honestly. I think I got a lot of stick for once tweeting out that I would rather have Ziyech over Sancho, because Ziyech offers that left foot threat, and he offers something different which Sancho doesn't, right? Sancho possesses, honestly, I think Pulisic possesses that as well. I think Hudson-Odoi can improve upon that as well. But Hakim Ziyech, right? The trademark cutting in and his passing. Exactly. It's unique. It's very few people have that. And he has one of the best left foot in world football. So exactly. So I think that, Anyway, I think we've sort of diverted on the topic. Kunal, you want to close things off?
I just want to close things off by saying that I'm just the same thing I repeated in the past few videos, man. I am absolutely buzzing for the PL to start after a long while. Let's be honest, because you wouldn't believe me, but I was last time I was this excited. Jose Mourinho was announced as our new coach, and I was like, yes, it's a PL guaranteed in the next couple of years. And well, to be honest, it didn't end perfectly, but at least I was right in some sense because the PL did arrive eventually. Yeah. So this time, the whole scene is different. It's not the Jose Mourinho era, it's the Lampard era. And the Lampard era is all about the future. It's all about the long-term success, not the immediate success. So I'm absolutely buzzing for the PL. And as you know, I like to lend it to my guy Miz for the final honors. And let's just get this done, boys. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Look, guys, thank you heaps. Fantastic, discussion once again. We've talked about some amazing topics, and I hope each and every one of you guys have got something out of it. And look forward to the next episode. We will have a particular special guest. We don't know who, but we will have a special guest. But as I said before we go, like we always do, please subscribe. Help us reach to our milestone, which is we want to try and get to 500 subscribers. We're about, I think, 315 or so. So help us push us to 500 subscribers. smash the like button on this particular video if you've enjoyed it, and yeah, share it with everyone, and let everyone know about this channel. Until next time, see ya.